So now that you have a really good understanding as to how we count eighth note triplets and you're comfortable playing that first eighth note triplet groove with me, it's important that we now begin to increase your vocabulary on the drum set even further within the eighth note triplet vibe, because we don't want you to be in a position where you're solely only able to play that one groove within the eighth note triplet spectrum, right? You want to be able to play as many different patterns as possible. What we're doing as drummers is always looking for options. That's so important. So what we're going to do is start placing extra bass drum notes and snare drum notes in here to create some really interesting and really cool patterns. So if we take this first groove, for example, within this lesson, this is similar to the last groove you would have learned, but you can clearly see that there's now an extra two bass drum notes. One is at the very end of that triplet within beat 1, and the other is at the very end of the triplet within beat 3. So we're also really accenting that quarter note pulse there on the hi-hats. You can see that written in there too on the notation. So that would sound like this. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So what I'm going to do is play this for you nice and slow at 65 beats per minute with our metronome. Then I'm going to move it up and do it a good bit faster at 95 beats per minute. But that's just, again, to give you a goal. So once you're comfortable doing it at 65, make sure you pause the lesson, put on your metronome, work your way up through the tempos, and then when you're comfortable doing it with me at 95 beats per minute, you can move on to the next groove. Here we go. Groove number 2, let me play this as slowly as I possibly can for you. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Let's put this in with our metronome again. Here it is at both 65 and 95 beats per minute. Now, up until this point, a lot of these grooves we could use within blues music, for example. Absolutely perfect for that. But this one is a lot more rock driven because we are now placing the snare drum on all of those quarter notes. So we get 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Let's place this third and final groove in with our metronome at both 65 and 95 beats per minute. So that wraps up yet another lesson here at WHELANDRUMS. In lesson number 7, we're going to stay within the realm of eighth note triplets, but with a slight twist. We're going to start breaking up that eighth note triplet pattern with your right hand on the hi-hats, also adding in some extra notes with your left, which is going to introduce you to the world of shuffle grooves. Yeah. All right, see you over in lesson number 7.